Good afternoon everybody, welcome back to Sprocket Man Designs. What you see before you on the bench top right now is a bunch of sprockets that I've just loosely laid out, and I intend to turn into a clock face. You know me, the design is bound to get tweaked en route, but in principle at least that's the basic layout of it. So what I've got to start doing now is, having taken a photograph of it so I remember what it looks like, because I do know what I'm like, using flat wheel on my angle grinder, I'm going to take all the edges back, get it looking the way I want it to. In the case of these two outer arcs, I'm just going to trim them in somehow so they just look a little bit nicer. Haven't quite worked out exactly how I'm going to do that yet. In fact, the spacing was different there and there, isn't it? Yeah, burn that bridge when I get to it. Like I say, I'm going to trim out some of the excess pieces. In fact, if I use this to point it out, it'll be easier to see. So these areas just in here, so the arc will come down, butt up to the little sprocket there, and then I can just tack them together to create the joints. So I think there is an element of goofing about yet to do with the final layout. It'll be something along those lines, I think. I think I've done something slightly odd one side or the other, but again, that's one of those things that as the whole clock face starts to be assembled, will no doubt get changed, because that tends to be what I do. Thinking for this particular layout, we've got the 12, 6, 2, I guess about 4-ish there. So you get the idea. The points of the sprockets are creating the hour points of the clock face. So I guess there's little else to do now other than stop bumping my gums together and boring you guys. Start chucking some spikes about. Spikes? Sparks even. Yeah. One of these days I'll learn how to speak English, you never know your luck. So, on with the ear defenders and application of sparks, I guess. If you're wondering what the rattling in the background is, it's now coming up to the tail end of October. Halloween is almost upon us, so as it's a bit chilly in the workshop here, I've got my heater on. See how long I survive with that before I decide it's getting too hot, eh? rest you. Okay, off to a good start. Right, I think to save boring you senseless just watching me constantly flattening these back, I'll pause the tape now, bring you back when I've got a few more done, show you the progress. See you in a bit, if I can find the button to turn the camera off. Okay, so you join me as I do the last sprocket there, and just to give you a slight demonstration, the reason you should always wear safety gloves is I've burred through the end of these. Yep, good job they weren't expensive, eh? Right, so all the bits are now polished up to a standard I'm comfortable with. Next part of the process is going to be starting to tack it all together. I've got to be honest, I still haven't decided which way up I want to run this main chainring. Excuse me. Part of my brain really wants it that way up, but that way up also is strangely pleasing. So I think once I've got this one tacked on in the right place, with all my spacings right around it, and I really should put it down now because I've managed to grab it dead right straight away. Rats. I think that being the case, I'm going to keep it like that and get it clamped to the bench top straight away, so that I can just put a couple of tacks onto it. I've just noticed the fan heater's warming up the corner of this bench where all my clamps are, and this is now quite hot to the touch. Might need to adjust that. Anyway, moving forward, so clamp that one there, so that's just got everything secured. Let's move the grinder, because I really don't want to heat her up with a MIG welder. If you ever see people using grinders without wearing safety glasses, you can tell them the little fun story that occurred while I was doing all that with the bits that were bouncing off my glasses. God knows what my face looks like now, and you ain't gonna see it, trust me on this. I wouldn't want to scare you that badly. Okay. So I'm happy with all the spacing there. So I think what I'm going to do is put the tacks in where those rivet holes are. They don't need to be huge tacks, and whatever I put in I'm going to grind back anyway, so it leaves it just cleaner. I'd then have to linish the front of it again to get the colours right, unless I suddenly decide I like it that way up. Oh god, I'm complicating it again, aren't I? Let's take ear defenders off because I don't need them at this point. Add the fact they don't fit underneath my welding helmet. Right, so next step, welding helmet. Welding helmet. Have I not turned the power on to the welder? Have now. I've actually turned it into my bench grinder. We're all going to get involved somewhere down the line. Right. Leads a little bit too long. And I just managed to catch my finger on the hot edge. Right, let's see if it's going to hold together. Let's see if I can pick this up without scorching myself. That should be a giggle, shouldn't it? Glove. Yep, ladies and gentlemen, you've just witnessed me remember to put a glove on before I fry my fingers. Actually, that's cracking. So I'll just just grind those back a fraction. Oh yeah, I think that is officially a good start to the assembly of this. Might need a little bit more in that one. And that one. So let's check that again. That one. That one. Right, I'm going to do that now. So it's those two. Because I'm feeling slightly... Well, she's not having it in there. Oh, the welding helmet doesn't want to stay on it. Right. Adjustments needed. There we go. Still very slightly flexible there, which is disturbing. So I think what I'm going to do start knocking things over. Helps if we put the earth on, doesn't it? Foolish sprocket. Foolish. And that's a good solid join. And then with a little bit of light linishing, although I might leave it just to let the colours ping up a bit. Yeah, I actually like it that way round, which is just as well because that's the way I've welded it. Right, so now is the point where it starts to become, sorry about that, I just knocked the camera with my welding helmet. This is where it starts to become a bit fiddly because it's going to be a case of get my phone out, lay up the next piece, tack it, next one, next one, next one. So what you're probably going to see now is a stop motion of bits getting attached. You never know, I might even get the hang of this camera malarkey. Okay, so I'm now going to start tacking on some of the rings that go around the outside. What I'm using here are 13 tooth sprockets because I like the size of them. They're a little bit deeper, so as I put more behind them, it'll kind of camouflage the mechanism once it's behind. And yes, this is a chicken satay I'm waving about. What is it with these things, right? You eat, well, I eat one, and once I've finished eating it, I end up looking at the skewer and thinking there's got to be something I can do with that skewer, but I never seem to think of anything. Yeah. Anyway, so next stage is get these 6 tacked on, go back to my phone, see where the ones that come in after that go. The final pieces that will be going on are these cut off arcs, because I've got to just trim out the bottom of these spurs where they would have normally connected to the main freehub body. That will involve a little bit of faffing about and hopefully not making too much of a mess of measuring it, because I'll only really get one chance to cut them in the right place. So that's where we are so far. I'll come back again in a minute and go, look what I've done, hopefully. See you in a bit. Okay, so we've got the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock positions on now, which are the top and bottom. Next and hopefully final stages will be getting these in here, like so. Same on the, well, similar on the opposite side. I'm not going to say same because when you don't actually bother measuring anything, it all changes. The fun stage is now approaching where I take these, and my idea, such as it stands at this time, because like I say, everything can change, they will be going on roughly like that. The same approximatively over there. I will be trimming the ends of these so they sit nicer behind those sprockets, and then it's these little, I think they're 11s. It's kind of hard to tell because I've actually taken off, but those will be going somewhere like that just to finish it off. And then it's just, I suppose I better order a mechanism for it because I don't currently have one. The length of the arms I'm going to put on will actually be governed. I haven't quite decided. I don't know whether to use the outer edge of these sprockets to govern the length of the arms, or the outer edge of 6 and 12. No doubt as I get closer to completion I'll make a decision on that subject. Actually, I hadn't really thought about that much until now. So from the centre to the outside there is, call it 135mm, and from the centre there to the outer edge of that, call it 110mm. Do I go with this slightly shorter one, even though, yeah, because 13 will look stupid arcing out past that, won't it? Yeah. So that's that decision made. There'll be 110mm hands, so they won't come up much further than sort of here, which creates that as a nice decorative bit. And then get it off to the boys at Spray Quick Powder Coating for them to use their special wizardry. While they're doing that, I can get the mechanism ordered. All the mechanisms I use are from a splendid online retailer called Dan's Clock Shop. The ones I tend to go for, it is a personal thing. I can't be doing with loud ticking clocks, so I get silent mechanisms. The other side of it is I also tend to go for transparent mechanisms, so they're not as noticeable behind the body of the clock. And I like the fact you can see into them a bit. Not that there's a huge amount to see. So I'll press on now, get as much done with this as I can, and then hopefully the next time I introduce this one to you guys, it will not only have a mechanism and hands fitted, it will be powder coated and ready for me to try and sell it. I just got to work out how much for. Anyway, that's down the road. Thanks again for watching another weird and wonderful example of me pretending to be capable of working. Sorry I didn't set fire to myself, scorch my fingers or anything else utterly idiotic in this episode. I have actually learned from my errors, finally, and it's far less painful. So there we have it. Thanks a lot guys, see you all soon. Feel free to like and subscribe and tell all your friends. Take it easy, bye.